We debate the trending topics in sports from a sports betting point of view. Let's welcome today's panel. Award-winning host, the fantasy exec, Corey Parson. Host of Her Story in the Making, Britt's Fantasy Blitz, and co-host of Lightning Round, Britt Flynn. And Fantasy Alarm lead NFL analyst and host of Fantasy Fiasco, Andrew Cooper. Welcome, everyone.
Morning, Heather.
Morning, Heather. Welcome. You can add to the intro after you say award-winning host. You can also put expert handicapper of NFL games.
Coop had something similar to that before.
I am the MLB All-Star Game professional handicapper. But for those that don't know, before the show, Corey Parson and Britt Flynn may have put an autographed dollar on who can do a better job of handicapping games this season.
That would be amazing to see. Ooh. She said, "I'm scared." Bone crusher out here.
Yeah, and I see the folks in the chat are surprised that I'm not wearing a hat.
Yeah, Coop is cleaned up. What's going on? You gotta go to court today?
No, just never make an excuse for looking good, Corey Parson.
Oh, okay. You know the rules, brother.
No, but I do got to go to town hall.
Look at that.
All right, let's get it started. Bergen record baseball writer Pete Caldera posted yesterday on Twitter showing a video of AL MVP Aaron Judge running bases to test out his injured toe. It's not the first time he's done some baseball activities, but let's not rush to add him back to our fantasy baseball lineups just yet. As GM Brian Cashman said, Judge's return to the field is close, but wouldn't commit to a timeline. The Yankees have only won 2 of their last 10 outings, and they are last in the AL East. Britt, how do you feel the Bronx Bombers should approach the trade deadline?
Yeah, and they lost again last night. I mean, the Yankees are in shambles. I joked that the trash truck wrap was kind of a metaphor a couple of weeks ago, but now it's just to the point that it's sad. The solution, I think, is to raid the White Sox yard sale, where everyone and everything goes. Bring back Andrew Benintendi. Coop, I know he didn't do well on the Red Sox. Corey, I know he disappointed during his stint with the Yankees, but he's a bright spot on that White Sox team with a 2.9 hitting average, and that's higher than anyone on the Yankees' current roster by 0.05 of a point on a White Sox team that's looking to sell off all their assets. Put together a package for him and either Dylan Cease or Reynaldo Lopez or Severino and whatever else they can get to cut down on their luxury cap tax, and I think they have a chance to climb back out of the hole that they've dug.
Yeah. So, Britt, I'm hearing a lot of stuff that you're saying. I'm hearing a lot of people saying they're going to be sellers. I've actually don't think I've ever heard more mixed signals come from one baseball team than the Yankees this month. Hal Steinbrenner said that no one's on the hot seat, and then Brian Cashman turned around and fired their hitting coach, something he's never done in 25 years, fired a coach during the season, right? John Boy comes out and says they're going to be sellers, while Brian Hawk says they're going to be buyers. What happens virtually every time you have a team like this that is just somewhere in limbo and they don't know what they're going to do is they go out and they just don't do enough in whatever direction they're going to do. So I expect the Yankees to come out and do some sort of retool where they, sell a couple guys on the fringe and it doesn't really matter. Or maybe they go out and add some marginal players like, a reliever or, some bat that can play a little left field. But whatever they end up doing, I expect it to be not enough in either direction. That's what teams in this situation almost always do.
So the fact that somebody had the audacity to say out their mouth that the New York Yankees are going to be sellers lets you know how far this once proud franchise is dropped. The New York Yankees is sellers. This is a team in a sport with no salary cap that is probably the most recognizable brand in all of professional sports, and they're selling. The Yankees were once considered too big to fail, and now all they do is fail. I don't want to sound like that spoiled Yankee fan, you know what I'm saying? But this is a disaster. Last place in the AL East with poverty franchises like the Baltimore Orioles and the Tampa Bay Rays running the show. Very disappointing, but the bottom line of the matter is this. It's time to blow this thing up. It's time to get rid of Aaron Boone. I would keep Brian Cashman. You can't get rid of the ownership group, but you know what? Stop showing up at Yankee Stadium and stop tuning into the Yes Network and something to change.
Yeah, and the pitching, something has to be done about the pitching. Like when Severino's ERA is the devil's number at 6.66 right now, that's just a bad omen all the way around. Like they have got to bring in some pitching, and Aaron Judge can't be the only person on that team. They have to bring in some people and other pieces that can help support him.
What
Like what happened to Gleyber Torres? He was supposed to be big, the new like El Papi. Come on, what's going on, fam? What are we doing? These dudes is mid grade. They ready.
What you need is what they really need to do in New York is take both teams, go down, meet up on the subway, and have whatever good players are remaining go north, and the other team go downtown, right? So I mean, if you take the pitchers from the Mets, put them on the Yankees, maybe you have one viable team. But yeah, this is not the New York we're used to, right?
Well, it's not the Yankees.
Yeah, the Mets are exactly what we're used to. The other team is exactly what we're used to.
They're always sellers.
Because they make bad contracts.
I can't even make
it is crazy.
Yeah, and they can't keep the players healthy. But listen, I can't even make fun of Met fans no more. That's not how I want to spend the dog days of summer. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I also love how the timeline for Judge's return is close, but yet we still don't have a timeline. That's like the biggest punt and hedge that you can ever put out there. That is the epitome of coach speak.
Sometime this summer.
You know, it's like this. I know Aaron Judge is a big dude, but how many years you want him to carry the team for? You know what I'm saying? At some point, my goodness, get him some help. You're the New York Yankees. Poverty franchises like the Baltimore Orioles. You got to be ashamed of yourself, Yankees.
I could listen to Corey go off about the Yankees all day.
It is soothing. It is as a Red Sox fan, it is soothing to hear Yankees.
Never told the old Yankee Stadium down. The stadium, the vibe has been off ever since. That's it.
Continue to break down Madden 24s. No, I love the passion. It's one. We continue to break down Madden 24's 99 Club, and the running back list has been released. There's a new sheriff in town as Titans running back Derrick Henry has been thrown off his horse. The new number one is none other than Browns' Nick Chubb, followed by 49ers' Christian McCaffrey, and an RB that couldn't secure a long-term deal in Raiders' Josh Jacobs. Do you feel EA Sports got the top 10 list correct, or is there someone they missed the mark on? Coop, you're up.
Yeah, I mean, these lists, they continue to show the disconnect on so many levels that Madden has with real life football, right? And maybe that's part of the disconnect that we have as fans when we're looking at these contracts. I mean, you look at what the NFL values now, and it's the pass game. So guys like Christian McCaffrey and Austin Eckler should probably be 1 and 2 on this list. And when you look through at some of the rankings with older players, as always, as we talked about with the wide receivers, always with the quarterbacks, they finally give the older guys the props when it's too late. Like Derrick Henry at this stage of the game should not be one of the, I mean, he's a good rusher, but he has nothing in the pass game. He shouldn't be way up at the top. And the number one proof of the disconnect is Cordarrelle Patterson being on this list somehow at 10, while Bijan Robinson is not in it at all. Are you suggesting that a kid playing Madden should swap out Bijan Robinson and put Cordarrelle Patterson in? And don't even get me started on Ramondre Stevenson not being on the list.
Yeah, I told you this. They do this stuff to make us talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what you see with Cordarrelle Patterson on the list with ADP of 228. Even though I do like Cordarrelle Patterson, he's a playmaker. He can get in the end zone. He finds a way to score. Good best ball guy. But yeah. So, but what I am proud to see, I am happy about this. I'm glad to see my man Nick. I'm so happy at the clock paused for me. You know what I'm saying? But I know how to do my time in my head. Peep game. I'm happy that Nick Chubb is getting his flowers. People really don't understand how good of a running back Nick Chubb really is. I mean, the way this guy is averaging 5 yards a carry this deep into his career. Oh, yeah, well, he doesn't catch passes. I get that, but that guy's a pure running back, and he's dominant. Listen, people don't play college football for 4 years like they used to. But Nick Chubb had a torn ACL, shared the backfield with Sony Michel and Todd Gurley, and still was almost a threat to Herschel Walker's amazing numbers. And Nick Chubb got his flowers, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, someone should just clip me saying that Nick Chubb is the best pure runner in the league at this point, so I don't have to keep repeating myself, because it feels like that's what I've been doing for the past couple of weeks. But I've been saying this for years. He doesn't get the love in the fantasy community because he doesn't catch passes, but that's not what we're talking about here. He was number 1 in evaded tackles last year, number 1 in breakaway runs. The dude is a beast. As far as the rest of the list, I think that I would put Jonathan Taylor above Dalvin Cook. It's kind of what you were talking about, Coop, the older guys getting their flowers above the younger guys. And yeah, I'm with y'all. I'm really confused as to why Cordarrelle Patterson is included in this list. Like, he was talked about as being a potential cap casualty after the drafting of Bijan, and then we're including him in this list just for why? It makes zero sense. I don't know when the timer froze, so I'm just going to yield my time to,
I'll tell you what. I see in the chat, Tommy saying the Raiders never get their respect. He's saying the Raiders never get their respect. Yet Josh Jacobs on this list is a 95 overall. He's 3rd on this list, right? What did Josh Jacobs do that Ramondre Stevenson didn't do last year? Why is Ramondre Stevenson an 80? Like, I know that if you're a parent out there, making your kid play as the Patriots in Madden is basically, the same as grounding them for the weekend or taking away the Xbox in general. But I mean, why can't Ramondre? How is he 15 points better than what Ramondre Stevenson showed us last year? It's a joke at times. What Dustin points out in the chat is true, is that it's either an average of the last 2 years, or I don't know what the formula is, but why can't they sit down and be like, oh, Bijan Robinson, this guy's a generational talent. We can make him higher than whatever after they probably have him at like a 70. I'm going to pull it up right now.
I think Bijan, I agree. I think Bijan should have been in the list too if you really wanted to make it, a little bit more realistic going into the season. But Josh Jacobs led the NFL in rushing last year. You know what I'm saying? He had a good year last year. He caught the ball, he ran the ball, and he stayed healthy. Josh Jacobs, if Tua would have played certain games through the season, I had a Josh Jacobs Tua team that could have went on a pretty deep run. But if if was a spliff.
Yeah. If you guys want to know,
Corey with all the references today.
If you guys want to know what Madden is, if you guys want to know what EA is actually doing and what Madden is actually doing, which is even more sinister than what Corey suggests, is trying to get us to talk about it. They're trying to proliferate their child casino that they run with the Madden Ultimate Team, which basically the way it works is kids buy packs of cards from them and get random players. And during the season, if someone has a big game, they come out with a new card for that player that has better stats. So they start the season with Bijan Robinson as an 81. And then after he has one good game, they come out with a card that makes him an 84. And then every week they come out with a new card. And, kids are back when I was a kid, even if games are $60, at least you got the whole game. Now, if you want to get your favorite player at his highest level, you're spending $1,000. Which, hey, you know what? I'll buy EA stock, but that seems pretty evil to me.
I'm glad my son's grown now. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to buy them games no more. It's a rip off, it's a scam. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy, dude. Scam. It's like, yeah, with the downloaded content and all this stuff. It's crazy for me to say, like, back in my day. But like back in my day, when you bought a game, you owned the game.
Yep. I think also it's funny that Corey says he's glad that his kid is grown, because there are grown men paying thousands of dollars to get the best version of this game. So
I ain't gotta buy it no more. That's
there you go.
There are many teams that have yet to win a championship in their respective sports. Tampa Bay Rays, Indiana Pacers, and we will never forget the epic loss by the Atlanta Falcons in Super Bowl 51 against Coop's New England Patriots. I personally still haven't gotten over the 93 NBA Finals, where my favorite player, Charles Barkley, and the Phoenix Suns lost to Jordan and the Bulls. Who do you think is the best team to have never won a championship? Bree, you're up.
So, that 93 Phoenix Suns team was a good basketball team. They had a real bad fight when the Knicks came to town that year. Crazy. But for the most part in professional sports, the best team tends to win. I think in the NBA, the 2002 Sacramento Kings were robbed on national television by the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA. 2016 Golden State Warriors, great team, fell victim, didn't win the championship. And then Coop will probably tell you something about what happened in 2007. But I'm going to go to the collegiate ranks, and I'm going to go with the best team that ever won a championship, the 2002-2003 Miami Hurricanes that lost in the Fiesta Bowl and what I think was the greatest football game ever played. And it was an absolutely loaded football team. Ken Dorsey, Willis McGahee, Roscoe Parrish, Andre Johnson, Kellen Winslow, Sonoris Moore, Sean Taylor, some NFL legends on that team. They were running through college football that year and then had a controversial overtime loss to Ohio State and the original Youngstown Boys crew. So I want to go with the 02-03 Miami Hurricanes team that lost in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. But for me, it's got to be the Buffalo Bills, right? I watched an incredible amount of Super Bowls between the Bills and Cowboys, and an incredible Jim Kelly-led team with Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, Bruce Smith, Darryl Talley, all on that team. It's too many to name, to a record of 4 consecutive Super Bowls, and they couldn't win a single one. And we've seen it in recent years too. The Bills are so close to getting back with Josh Allen. Then the 13-second miracle play by Patrick Mahomes put them out. They lost in the snow against Joe Burrow this past season. The team is good. It just feels like they have a little bit of a curse over their franchise. And it's time that they win, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah, the Buffalo Bills are a sad and kind of at times hilarious tragedy story. Going back to the Music City Miracle, right? Like going back to the 4 times they lost the Super Bowl in a row. Then you had the Music City Miracle. Then Tom Brady had his foot on their neck for 2 decades, and now Patrick Mahomes is terrorizing them, and Joe Burrow and the whole gang. But Corey's right. The best team, the best individual team to not win the championship was obviously the 2007 Patriots. That team was an absolute steamroller. Tom Brady, for the first time ever, had a real wide receiver, one of the best of all time, maybe the best of all time talent-wise. Obviously, Jerry Rice is the numero uno in every category, but Randy Moss that year, 23 touchdowns. Tom Brady, 50 touchdowns. They crushed everybody, and it wasn't until they had some random helmet catch when there was a ton of holding that they actually lost that game. If you play that game 100 times, they probably win 99 times, and I'm convinced that it could potentially even be a conspiracy, because if they won that year and went 19-0, there's nothing else to play for. What does the next team play for? Because even if you go 19-0 the next season, did you throw 50 touchdown passes? Did Randy Moss catch 23? The league had to step in and put a stop to that one. And you know what? I don't even blame them. So that's best team of all time.
Coop, the question was, which team has never won a Super Bowl? You guys
Randy Moss.
You guys are leading the entire NFL in Super Bowl championships. And then the conspiracy thing. Come on, Coop. Come on.
The conspiracy thing is crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Team Randy Moss is the best team to never win a Super Bowl.
Listen, I think that's I agree. That team, I remember during the regular season that year, they beat Washington so bad. People was like, why did Bill Belichick run the score up on that poor old man Joe Gibbs like that for? I mean, they was running the score up like a college team.
Killing people.
It was tough for me not to put that team at 1. And then the 2016 Golden State Warriors, I mean, they won 73 basketball games, which is crazy. Splash Brothers in their prime, but they lost to the GOAT, LeBron James. So with that 07 Patriots team, that was
mean.
Yeah,
they were doing. You're right. It was mean.
They didn't win the championship.
There were weeks where it felt mean. It was crazy, dude. And that year in New England, if you lived in New England, your fantasy leagues were ruined because some homer went out there and took Tom Brady and Randy Moss and the dude who took, and even Gostkowski, like the homer kid in your league finally got his redemption, and it probably ruined your league for the next 10 years because that kid was trying to chase that same thing,
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's true, but also, Coop, come on, conspiracy. I need to hear more about this conspiracy.
It makes all the sense in the world. You just can't. They just you can't let a team just dominate like that. They had to step in and stop it because then there's no hope for anybody else. What are you even playing for?
But
You're
what's the conspiracy? Like, okay, so say you're a fan of the 2002 Sacramento Kings. There was a clear conspiracy. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's the same people.
The Lakers shot 17 free throws in the fourth quarter. You
It's
know
the
what I
same.
mean?
It's the same people pulling the puppet strings above Roger Goodell. You know what I mean? They up at the top of the top secret penthouse floor of some casino in Las Vegas. They had to call it in.
String helped him catch the ball with
That
his
was
helmet.
There were a couple. I probably could have called 4 or 5 holding penalties on that play. And I will say this: that was the one time ever that Las Vegas has lost money on the Super Bowl. The one time ever.
Cool. Was Mario Manningham out of bounds in 2011?
No, that one was legit.
Oh,
nah, he was good. We can't. That's the thing about conspiracy theories, Corey, is that you got to keep it a little bit realistic. You can't just say all the times we lost it was our dark reptilian shape-shifting overlords. This one time though, it was.
So did Michael Jordan get suspended, or was it a gambling suspension? I mean, was Michael Jordan a gambling suspension, or did he retire to go play baseball?
It was a gambling
suspension.
Everybody believes that.
Actually, no, he didn't gamble. It was retribution because he pushed off in Game 6.
All right, that was before Game 6, though.
Was it? Oh, was yeah.
This was the first time he retired. When he
so
went to
actually,
go play baseball.
Well, it works the other way. Though. They let him push off because to pay back.
We could have a whole show on sports conspiracies. I love it.
He had to leave, dude. Everyone knows that he had to leave for a year to go to defeat the Monstars and save the Looney Tunes. You guys saw that documentary.
Oh, that's what it was.
You guys saw that documentary, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a documentary.
That's amazing. Now it's time for Dealer's Choice. Give us your bet of the day. It could be on any topic and any sport. Britt, what do you have for us today?
Well, after cashing in on my bet yesterday, I'm going to double down with another MLB bet and go with the Diamondbacks winning against the Braves at plus 150 on the money line. I think it was actually plus 150 last night. It's gone up to plus 164. I'll take that all day. This is going to come down to the wire. I will give you that. There are going to be fireworks, but I'm banking on the Diamondbacks defense to get this win done. Their fielding rate sits at 990, which is first in the MLB, and they have 77 double plays on the season, and they have converted 69% of in-ball plays to outs. The Braves are now sitting on a 4-game losing streak, and I'm counting on the sweep from Arizona.
Yeah, I'm going to continue my corporate finance series on long-term football bets because honestly, it would be disingenuous for me to throw out some baseball bet when I don't really care about betting on baseball right now. What I care about are the upcoming fantasy football season, and there's a lot of ways to arbitrate and arbitrage some of these lines, right? I look at the Carolina Panthers, and I kind of liked Adam Thielen until I started looking at the lines and what Vegas is telling us. They paid him a decent amount of money, but they're setting it over-under at 525 yards. Jeez. That's it, 525, man. Like, they're basically telling you that the Panthers wasted their money here. But Adam Thielen is him or Jonathan Mingo, the first ones to come off the board virtually every single time in your fantasy drafts. DJ Chark goes well after those guys, and his over-under is set at 675.5, over 150 yards higher than Adam Thielen. So here's the way I'm dealing with that. I'm going to bet the over on Adam Thielen, and now I've pivoted to kind of waiting and drafting DJ Chark in my fantasy leagues because Vegas usually has a pretty good idea of what they're doing. And when it's that far off, it shouldn't be that far off in ADP.
I like the way you're thinking right there. That's a good way to go about that. I like that hedge the betting with the fantasy. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to walk away with a win some way. So I like that. Good thinking. As far as my bet goes, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna fade the Buffalo Bills. I know we were talking about the Buffalo Bills, but I'm gonna take the under on the Buffalo Bills season win total of 10.5. I don't know, but the fact that you come to OTAs and Diggs shows up still upset about the way the season ended last year, to me, I think the disease of me has crept into the Buffalo Bills locker room. I think it's going to be a problem throughout the course of the season. I'm going to fade the Buffalo Bills under 10.5. I think there's going to be a different champion in the AFC East this year.
Corey,
yeah. Go
I was
ahead,
gonna say,
Coop.
I'm fully with you on this situation. There's two teams I look at this offseason where these teams are in. These teams are like no more rebuild. Like it's time to win now. I'm looking at the Detroit Lions and the Buffalo Bills. And this is how I look at it. If Jahmyr Gibbs and Dalton Kincaid aren't stars right away and contributors right away for these teams, these fans should have the pitchforks out because the Buffalo Bills essentially, they've gotten to the same spot every year and they lose every year. And a lot of it is because too much of it is on Stephon Diggs and he knows it. And that's why he's pissed off. So you would think this team would go out and find a true wide receiver 2 so that Gabriel Davis can be the wide receiver 3, right? We learned from the Rams when they won the Super Bowl that when you have 3 wide receivers, sometimes that's not even enough. They had to go out and trade for Odell Beckham Jr. So this team, I feel like they are it's like that kid in your dynasty league that tries to win 3 years in a row in the future. So he never actually sits down and builds a team that can win right now. Dalton Kincaid and Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis, I'm not sure that's enough. And I kind of feel the same way about the Lions. Trading for Denzel Mims isn't going to move the needle, right? They're going to draft a rookie tight end and go with a rookie running back. I think this team is just setting themselves up to be a perpetual almost there.
Yep. I think not getting a legitimate wide receiver 2 is really the crux of the Buffalo Bills struggles. And we want to talk about conspiracies. People can say that Stephon Diggs is unhappy with what's going on with the offense. I think it's Josh Allen's baby mama drama that happened the morning of the championship game against the Bengals. But we don't
Spill
have
that
time
tea.
to get
What
into
baby
that.
mama drama?
Oh, we don't have enough time.
We have 30
But
seconds.
I'll link it on my Twitter. Y'all follow me on Twitter and I'll
Post
put
a
it
video
out
on our YouTube. I feel like people would be all over that.
there.
Me and Josh Allen got some of the same issues.
Oh
Excellent.
man.
Yeah,
I do love that. But
Hey George, like the way your hair looked today, Coop.
Yeah, that's the thing though. George is a Boston guy, so when I read that, I never know if it's serious or not. And my first guess is always that it's not. So yeah, either way, George, I appreciate you, brother. Yeah, there you go, dude. What's up?
okay,
Bro?
well, so for Tommy in the chat, since we have a little bit of time, I'll just give the abbreviated version. So apparently the gossip goes that Josh Allen was cheating on his longtime girlfriend, that he got this woman pregnant, and that his current girlfriend showed up banging at his door the morning of that championship game, and that Josh Allen was so out of sorts by dealing with this drama that his head was not in the game, and that was why Stephon Diggs was yelling at him on the sideline.
That's great. So now Josh Allen's Antonio Brown.
Yeah, seriously.
Supposedly it's been
Wow.
debunked, but
he should have just listened to Stephon Diggs, the guy who famously and publicly broke up with his 40-year-old Instagram model girlfriend because he likes to keep his options open when he's on the road.
Good for
Google
him.
that one. Yeah.
The Diggs brothers be in DMs hard, you know what I'm saying? Because Trayvon got an Instagram girl too, a couple of them, you know what I mean?
God bless.
On that
Good luck,
note,
fellas.
that was
Trust me, it don't work.
way messy. It's way messy. That was today's edition of A Better Morning. Thank you to Corey, Britt, and Coop. Make sure you check out Sharp Angles Live with Rich Rebar and Ray Summerlin at 12 Eastern. If you missed any of our shows, you can find them all on our YouTube channel and at bettersports.com. We wish everyone a better day.